and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, some music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and I am joined by...
Protoblob.
Yes, and hopefully sometime relatively soon we'll be joined by the Golden Loon. Anyway, today is Moon's Day, also known as Monday, December 26, 2022. I hope everyone's Christmas was good. Mine was pretty good, fun times, chill times, and hanging out with, friends and family and such like that. So, how was your Christmas, Blob?
Well, my Christmas was also fine.
Good. Alright, so why don't you start us off, if you don't mind, in 268 here.
Yeah, and I actually think they put it in the wrong thing because it's not in the depths, but in 268 on this day, Saint Dionysius, Roman Pope from 259 to 260, dies.
Huh.
So he resigned 8 years before his death.
Yeah, I just saw that. So he wasn't Pope for too long. He's just like, oh wow, I'm done. I think that should be in the death section. So let's just move on to 795 just to cover our bases here.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday that his predecessor died. Now in 795, Leo III is elected to serve as Pope on the day his predecessor was buried and is consecrated the following day.
Huh. All right.
And in
just been joined by
Golden Loon.
Welcome to the show, good sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And in 1492, the first Spanish settlement, La Navidad, in the New World is founded by Christopher Columbus in modern Mole St. Nicholas in Haiti. And we talked about it the other day. The Santa Maria was going ashore there, and essentially they used the wood from that ship to found a new settlement.
Yeah, they ran aground, right?
They ran aground. We had a school jingle, 1942, Columbus sailed the blue.
Yeah, well, in 1492.
1492.
1492.
I think
Columbus sailed the ocean.
1942, other people sailed the blue.
Yeah.
In 1942, I'm not going to complete what I said. Anyway, going to move on into 1606. First known performance of William Shakespeare's tragedy King Lear before the court of King James I at Whitehall, London occurred. Huh. Alright. In 1620, the Mayflower Pilgrims came ashore in Plymouth Bay, traditionally thought to be at Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts. The old style is December 16th. So so 10 days apart. I remember, as I was reading this, I'm like, didn't we read this? But we did.
Okay, well, wait a second. What is Plymouth Rock then?
Well, that's the rock that we believe that they landed on, but they landed in the bay, and it's just folklore,
Yeah.
But, if you think about the times, it's actually pretty amazing. It's over 120 years after Christopher Columbus found America.
Roughly, yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So it's over a century that not much happened.
Well, there was a lot of traveling and everything, but I wonder, between those times and the times after and such, how often were there ships, sailing back and forth? They were building all the colonies, they were building the plantations, that's where sugar came from, in Central and South America.
You plant a seed, you don't see much activity initially until it sprouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mostly it was the Spanish conquering the natives in Middle and South America, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
Mesoamerica and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, that is an interesting point in history. I gotta look more into, because it's.
I think we talked about this not too long ago, but the Spaniards are the one that brought their own slaves with them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then 1705, Fateh Singh at the age of 6 and Zorawar Singh at the age of 7, sons of Guru Gobind Singh, were murdered by Wazir Khan for refusing to convert to Islam. They are now among the most hallowed martyrs in Sikhism. Huh.
Zeeks, yeah.
Which is also a branch of Islam, I think.
Yes. Yeah, the Sikh... no, is it? Hold on a second. Sikhism.
Oh no, I think I confused that with Shiism.
Search this. Sikhism is the world's 5th largest religion. The word Sikh means leader or seeker of truth. Sikhism advocates equality, social justice, service to humanity, and tolerance of other religions. That's cool. A religion that preaches tolerance of other religions. That's not often.
Yeah, it's that religion from India. I confused it, actually. Sorry.
They got in 9/11. They got swept up because of their turbans that they wear.
Yeah.
By just people. They're wearing their turbans and they got attacked.
Yeah. A lot of ignorance happened around that time. I was guilty of a lot of ignorance myself.
Well, everybody from time to time is.
But it says here, from the actual wiki, Sikhism, also known as Sikhi, is an Indian religion that originated in the Punjab region of the Indian subcontinent around the end of the 15th century CE. It is the most recently founded major organized faith and stands as the 5th largest worldwide, with about 25 to 30 million adherents as of the early 21st century. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I just, as you probably saw, I posted the wiki, the link to the wiki in the underbar of the description. Anyway, Mr. Blob, let's go back to you here. 1773.
All right. In 1773, we have the expulsion of tea ships from Philadelphia.
Ah, yes. So, I don't remember when the Tea Party happened, but this was just a few years before the actual outbreak of the revolution.
What does this mean, the expulsion?
They expelled them.
They wouldn't let them dock.
Maybe it helps you to put it into historical context if I tell you that the Boston Tea Party happened on the 16th of December in 1773. So
Okay.
10 days before.
So it left here, got kicked out of Philadelphia and went up to Boston. It sounds like.
Well, no, the Boston Tea Party, he said it was December 16th, so that was 10 days ago. So it happened.
Yeah, okay.
And it was 1773, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it had happened just 10 days prior. That was in Boston. But in Philadelphia, which later became the first capital of what would become the United States, the original 13 colonies.
So I have it backwards. So they took the cue of Boston and didn't let it.
Yeah.
dock.
Well, expulsion, I believe it means no more docking, but I believe it also means they all the other ships that were already there, they expelled them.
Yeah.
So.
Sea ships in general.
Yes.
Specific.
So.
Yeah, and they tried to hide in the Tea Act what they wanted to do, but 13 colonies were not stupid, and they knew that it was essentially,
taxation without representation.
And it led very much to the American Revolution then in the following years.
Yeah. And speaking of a revolution, you have something right here.
Yes, we have in 1776, the American Revolutionary War. George Washington leads United States troops. Back then it was the Revolutionary troops, the Continental Army. He leads them to defeat the Hessians at the Battle of Trenton in New Jersey. And of course, that was after he had crossed the Delaware before.
Yeah. Yep, we spoke about that yesterday.
The night before, right?
Yes. The night before. He crossed the Delaware again after his WAP brought this up yesterday, and we spoke about it a week prior. He had crossed that same river before, in evacuation. He came back in a sneaky counterattack and kicked them in the teeth.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yep.
And in 1792, as part of the French Revolution, the trial of French King Louis XVI, the court hears the king's defense brought by Raymond de Sées.
Yeah, the French Revolution, they were having revolutions before us, but, then we sparked the revolutionary mindset in them again after our revolution, after they backed us, because as we all know back then, France and Britain were not on very well terms.
Right.
So
Yeah, he was arrested in August of 1792, and
oh dang.
he was found guilty and executed on the 21st of January in 1793.
Oh, so I know what we're looking forward to. I
Who
guess.
was that was found guilty again?
This guy.
Oh,
Uh,
it was the king. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So he was only 38 years old when he was
Jeez.
executed.
Wow.
And despite him having a lot of gray hair and looking like he's 60 or 70 on the photo, he indeed was only 38.
I'm gonna say he looks really plump for a 38-year-old. So,
Yeah.
but is that who Marie Antoinette was married to? Like when was Marie Antoinette?
Yes, and his wife was not very popular.
Oh, so he was
So
the
she-
husband of Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, and she was executed with him.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah, executed by guillotine. Well, that's a way to lose your head.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke. Anyway, 1799, George Washington was eulogized, that's a weird word, by Colonel Henry Lee as first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
They wanted to
Yes.
make him king.
yeah, it almost worked.
Well, he said no.
Yeah.
He could have been king. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't that he pondered it or anything. He obviously would
Yeah.
not. But the fact that we almost the concept of our government, at least back then, as you've said to me many times, was so revolutionary and so new.
Absolutely unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, we're kind of in a real shaky situation, so it still might fail. We're never out of the woods.
No.
So-
Ronald Reagan said you're only one generation away.
Yeah. We really are.
He had died just a few days before on December 14th, 1799.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
An eulogy is, posthumous, how do you say?
Summation of their life and what you have to say. I know what a eulogy is, but I've never heard of the word eulogized. I've never heard the.
They just used
All right.
adjective.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we also have in 1811 a theater fire in Richmond, Virginia, killed the governor of Virginia, George William Smith, and the president of the First National Bank of Virginia, Abraham B. Venable. Well, I mean, the second one is not much of a loss, bankers,
They're putting value on life. Way to go.
Well, I mean, they're bankers. They are the ones who put value on life. So I'm just giving them their own attitude back in their face. So anyway, right back to you, Blob. In 1825.
All right. In 1825, we have the Decembrist uprising in Russia against Tsar Nicholas I that begins, and old style it's 14th of December.
Yes, this is the start of the communism.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah.
uprising.
Yep. I thought that was the October Revolution, though. I guess it kind of merged.
No. That what you mean is 100 years later, I think.
Oh, this is wait. Oh, I was wrong. Yeah, that's right. So 1825. So this is Nicholas the First,
Yeah.
not the Tsar during the First World War. He was the father of Anastasia, right?
He had begun his reign on the 14th of December of 1825, old style, so at the same day. And-
Huh.
And apparently that's when, let me see.
So that's confusing. He began his reign, and the very instant he started, there was an uprising against him. That makes no sense.
Yeah, there were 3,000 young Imperial Army officers and other liberal-minded citizens who did not like his
Policies.
him
Okay.
being king, and they demonstrated against the government, and it
So they didn't
And
actually
it-
overthrow him.
very
Well, no, this is when the uprising began. So
Yeah.
they haven't overthrown him. They're just starting to revolt.
Right.
So, okay.
it ended the same day.
Okay. So that was not long.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and we have in 1833. I really can't talk today. Gaetano Donizetti's opera Lucrezia Borgia premieres at La Scala Teatro in Milan, Italy. So she was a noblewoman, it says here, Mrs. Borgia. And oh my God, she was daughter of Pope Alexander VI.
Oh wow.
What?
How could she be the daughter of a pope?
Well, I mean, like, he could have had a daughter before he was elected pope,
No way.
or
No way. It
Yeah.
would be pure and married to the church only.
well, no, like it wasn't actually until like because we went over this not too long ago.
Yes.
There was a rule change that
really?
because popes could have a wife up until like what was it 200 years ago or something? Because like we spoke about like the last married pope
Oh, okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Lucrezia Borgia, about who this opera is, who was the daughter, not a person who wrote the opera.
Right.
It says here there have been at least 4 popes who were legally married before taking holy orders. So they were married before they became pope.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, holy orders before they became a priest, I guess.
any pope have children? There are plenty of popes in history who, despite their vow of celibacy, have broken this rule. These include popes who were married, had longtime partners, lovers, and even a few that had children. Some popes in history have even been known to be the son of previous popes who have been molded into taking over. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So that sounds like imperialism right
And
there.
maybe that's why they banned being married ever.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there have been
didn't
some
wanna
popes that
grow-
had kids.
They didn't want to group families.
Yeah.
And Gaetano Donizetti, who created the opera, was one of the leading composers of the bel canto opera style during his time.
Huh.
All right, is it
I
still
believe we
my
have
turn?
one more in 1854.
All right, in 1854 we have the Treaty of Madison Creek signed by Nisqually, Puyallup, and wait, how is this pronounced? Nisqually, Puyallup, and Coast Salish peoples with Isaac Ingalls Stevens, governor of Washington Territory, giving up 2.5 million acres to preserve fishing and gathering rights.
Oh wow, nice.
I don't think that's nice.
Well, I mean, like, you know, as I said before, in comparison to like a whole lot of other, you know, civilizations and such, the Native Americans really got a cush deal. We could have just, you know, removed them completely.
I don't
Like-
think they got a cush deal.
Well, as I said, in comparison, like how many like thousands of civilizations and peoples have just been wiped out? We could have done that easily to them, but we didn't. Like what we did was bad. Yes, I'm not arguing against that.
And we did wipe some tribes out.
We did, and that's horrible. But like when you think about it, the fact that we have reservations and stuff for them, you know, this Treaty of Madison Creek, like, you know, yeah, it sucks that, you know, things happen to lead up to this, and that they have, you know, that they're being boxed in what used to be all of their land.
Yeah.
But as I said, we could have just eliminated them completely. You know, there could have not been a Treaty of Madison Creek and just wiped them all out, taken the land, not preserved anything. You know, so always look at the bright side. You know, it's better than 1.5 million acres, not as good as 3. You know, so
Unfortunately, the cultures couldn't mix. You couldn't just say, okay, you surrender, you live within our country now. It doesn't work that way. Their cultures are so different. You can't own land.
yeah.
Land belongs to nature, and you know, it's just total polar opposites. So they came up with
Well,
giving them land of their own.
it sucks, but survival of the
It is.
fittest. You know, that's the law of nature.
I know. But
You know?
it's not a good thing.
It's not, but we are of nature. We're not above
Yeah.
it, so we got to stop thinking like we can act better than that. We can't. So, I mean, this is a really good act of you know, humanity. It's not as good as, you know, as what we can be, but it's not as bad as what we are capable of. So
Well,
Yeah.
It's like anything else. You sign
And
a peace treaty,
yeah,
whether it's World War II, one, or you know,
yeah,
you try to settle something.
yeah.
In 1979, the United States Supreme Court has to rule on that decision and granted the Native Americans a lot more rights to the hunting and fishing in their reservation.
Good.
1979, you say?
Yes.
Took a long time.
Better late than never, though.
Well, yeah, no.
Like-
Make it right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, my turn, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah. 1860, the maiden voyage of the first steamship owned by one man, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Of course, Vanderbilt. So, but the first steamship. That's cool. And then we also have in 1862, we have the largest mass execution in U.S. history. 38 Dakota men were executed via hanging in the aftermath of the U.S.-Dakota War in Mankato, Minnesota. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, this is what we're capable of. We didn't give them the land. We didn't preserve anything. We just killed them. So, you know, we're not doing as good as we can, but we're not doing as bad as we can either. So, you know, like it's, you know, I guess I'm like, you know, looking at it from a more optimistic point of view, you know. So, but that is awful, and I don't know why that's not highlighted. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Dark point in history right there.
Yep. But in 1878, the first U.S. store to install electric lights was in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Can you imagine, like, living in a time before electricity and everything, and all of a sudden, like, you know, the Piggly Wiggly down the road is getting electric lights. Ooh, let's go see the show. Like,
Well, wasn't it
Yeah.
in New York where they,
the World's Fair?
well, no, but they started putting lights in the wealthy's homes and things, but they put generators down in the basement and things like that.
That makes sense.
And I think Edison was involved in that.
Oh, of course, yeah. Edison was a power mogul. So,
Yeah.
so was
Also-
Westinghouse, and Vanderbilt was something. He was a business magnet or something. But then for my third
Yeah.
year in 1879, we have Johannes Brahms' Tragic Overture premiered. Okay.
Very tragic.
Yeah.
All right.
And we had one more in 1860, by the way.
Oh.
The first ever inter-club football match between Hallam FC and Sheffield FC at the Sandygate Road ground in Sheffield, England. That's soccer, essentially.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I must have skipped over that. So,
Goes back a ways.
yeah. 1860, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1902, we have the most knockdowns in a fight. I guess that's boxing.
Yeah.
Oscar Nelson, 5, and Christy Williams, 42.
That's a bit of a difference right there.
That would have been in the bare knuckle days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5-42. I think we know who won that fight.
Well, I don't, but you will enlighten us.
Well, I think
mean,
depending on like what this means, if Christy Williams was knocked down 42 times, or if he knocked down the other guy 42 times, depending on what context that is, I'd say whoever got the most knockdowns won. You know, because
I think it's who didn't get up.
yeah,
Yes. Oscar Nelson, by the way, was known as Battling Nelson. So
as what?
Battling Nelson.
Oh,
Battling Nelson. Interesting.
Yeah, he held the World Lightweight Championship title and was also nicknamed the Durable Dane because of his Danish ancestry.
Huh. All right. You got another boxing thing here.
I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see anything here about that match we just talked about, but our readers are invited to look it up.
Yes, I
In
challenge
the
any of our
1908
viewers, if you can, link a link in the comment section to more information about this particular fight. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I will look it up in a moment.
No,
but
no,
first,
I
in
was
1908,
I was saying that to the viewers. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
In
Go ahead.
1908, the African-American boxer Jack Johnson stops Canadian defending champion Tommy Burns in the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship, by the way, in the 14th round in Sydney, Australia, to become the first black man to win World Heavyweight title. Burns is favorite in 12th title defense, but Johnson dominates before police stop the bout.
Oh wow! So another boxing.
Wait, so the police stopped the match?
Yeah, this is the second one to my knowledge that we reported on about police interference in a boxing match. The first one being, I believe, with Sullivan himself, like the guy from the picture. John L. Sullivan, yeah. They had to go in there because and it was bare knuckle boxing, mind you.
Yeah.
They said it was getting too brutal. So it's like, God, was it caving the guy's skull in? What was going on? You know? Jeez.
Yeah. Now I'm not insinuating anything. I mean, but if police was betting on some boxers, maybe they could have made some.
That's an abuse of power right there.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
well,
saying they could have done.
Yeah. Anyway, 1913, Ambrose Bierce's a last known communication, a letter to his close friend Blanche Partington. He was a writer and satirist.
I wonder what that's about. He just disappeared or something?
I don't know. It was his last letter. He died on January 11th, 1914 at the age of 71. This is 1913. So, yeah, so he died just a couple weeks later.
That's a weird deal.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. But then here we have in 1914, U.S. government protests British interference with U.S. merchant ships at sea. On the same day, Germans announced they will treat food as contraband, subject to seizure, weakens U.S.'s protest. So.
That was likely part of World War One.
Yeah, World War One has already began and everything. Yeah. So we were neutral officially, but we were giving supplies to the British, and the French and the British and everything,
including ammo.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what eventually led to the sinking of the Lusitania,
that's right.
Which was the call to arms that got us into the First World War. However, there is a Mandela effect thing. Protoblob, I know that you enjoy Mandela effects as well. You're probably already aware of this, but I forgot the name, but there's this ammo
Black
dump
Tom
or something. What?
The Black Tom explosion.
Yes, thank you. There's this ammo dump or something in New York. And some Germans went over there to sabotage it, and they blew it up. And it damaged the Statue of Liberty. The explosion was so massive.
Ooh.
But there's very little things about it. We were never really taught about it in school. So there's this whole thing about it. For whatever reason, either the government's trying to cover it up, or whatever powers that be, somebody's either trying to cover it up, or it's something that actually happened in another dimension, and then the dimensions merge or something, and then that's what caused the Mandela effect. So
there's no trace of it in history.
Officially, but officially yes and no, at the same time.
After the 9/11 attacks, they had a documentary in Germany about attacks against U.S. soil, and the biggest one was some cannon ship in World War II that shot at Washington D.C. I think.
A what? That shot at Washington?
Cannon ship.
Huh.
So they did not mention that Black Tom explosion.
Yeah, no, it's a weird situation with that. No. Anyway, we're gonna move on up in here to 1919. In the year 1919, Yankees and Boston Red Sox reach agreement to move future Baseball Hall of Fame pitching slugger Babe Ruth to New York. Yeah.
Boston needed the money.
Boston. No. And then let's see here. 1924, Frances Gumm, later Julie Garland, at the age of 2.5, was billed as Baby Frances, made her show business debut at 2.5 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. And we were talking the other day about that one actor. What movie did we just watch? With that short guy. Oh
yes, UHF by Weird Al and his fellow staff.
Yeah, there was a little person there, and he entered show business at the age of 4.
Yeah, something like that. It was the legendary. Billy Barty.
Billy.
He was playing Noodles Macintosh there, some cameraman.
UHF, right? Yeah, there we go. Images. Let's see.
He was born in 1924 in Millsboro, Pennsylvania, and the family moved to California in 1927. And in the 1920s and 30s, he already starred in a comedy series.
Yeah, Billy Bailey, this guy here.
Yeah, Billy Bailey. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie Cooper was a child actor, and his parents just took all the money he made in movies and everything, and went through it. He came out penniless at the end. That started child acting laws where they couldn't touch it and stuff like that.
Jeez, that's awful.
Yeah. He had nothing.
God, that's awful, man. I can't even imagine that. Like parents are supposed to be supportive, not leeching. You know, like.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have one of the best dads in all of history. So.
Hey, you're still running the tab. Don't try to stroke.
No, see, because you're letting me run the tab for this long, you know, and like the meter on the taxi cab is just spinning.
Just keeps going.
It's just, you know. So. Anyway, you got some sports history here in 1928.
We have the legendary Johnny Weissmuller, who announces his retirement from amateur swimming.
Oh. Yeah. All right.
And of course, afterwards he became the Hollywood actor who played the Tarzan guy.
Oh.
Absolutely right.
All right. Tarzan.
Yeah. He's the original.
And we have a theater premiere in 1931. George Gershwin, Ira Gershwin, George S. Kaufman, and Maury Riskin's musical political satire of Thee I Sing opens at the Music Box Theater in New York City. It runs for 441 performances and becomes the first musical to win the Pulitzer Prize for Drama.
Nice. That's really cool.
Ran for over a year.
Yeah. 441 performances. That's pretty good. So.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like, you know, we have spoken about several, you know,
We have talking about one that had only one performance.
yes. Opening and closing.
Didn't go well.
No. Yep. Flopped like a fish.
And in 1940, the movie The Philadelphia Story, directed by George Cukor, was released based on the Broadway play of the same name, starring Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and James Stewart. And it won the Academy Awards for the Best Actor 1941. So I guess for James Stewart or
Maybe
Cary Grant?
Those are three of the all-time great actors right there, and actresses.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Hepburn in one of those Humphrey Bogart movies?
Yeah.
Okay, I have the Academy Awards of 1941 here. So, let me see.
Well, like 1941, speaking of that, we have Winston Churchill became the first prime minister to address a joint meeting of the U.S. Congress, warning that Axis would stop at nothing. And he was right.
Yeah.
Like, and actually, I was watching a video, like just last night, or I think the night before, about Winston Churchill's Christmas visit to Washington, D.C. So, you know, it was during 1941.
Yeah.
And, it mentioned, like, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Winston Churchill had a really, really good night's sleep because he knew that that would bring the states into the war and save Britain from, you know, Germany.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, oh, thank God. You
Finally
know?
getting them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the winner was actually James Stewart for the Academy Award in 1941.
Oh, you were right. Okay.
And Katharine Hepburn was also nominated as an actress, but the winner was legendary Ginger Rogers.
Ah.
The dancer.
Huh. Well, she got nominated, so there's that. You know, that's good.
Out of the same
Yes.
movie, that's something.
1944, this is a biggie.
Oh, yeah.
Battle of Bastogne. U.S. General George S. Patton's Third Army repulses German forces. And this is after, of course, during the Great Winter Siege of Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. where Germany is like in one last ditch effort to try to retake the continent, just push all their forces through the Ardennes forest to try to push them back out into the push the Allies back out in the sea, and in doing so,
hence the bulge.
yeah, they encircled the highly strategic, valuable little township of Bastogne, which was a major crossroads in that area. And the U.S. 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles, were there. This is portrayed in the series Band of Brothers. But they were there. They were under siege, and there's another famous thing that came out of it. The German commanders sent the Allies a message. The people in Bastogne. They're like, "Hey, surrender! We have you encircled. You're not going to get out of this alive if you don't surrender." Essentially, and then the commanding general sent a one-word reply: "Nuts."
Nuts.
Like that's nuts.
Yeah.
And then the Germans were obviously really confused because that's slang.
Yeah.
They're just like, what does he mean, nuts? But to us, we know that's just mean, you're crazy asking us to surrender. No, we have you surrounded from the other end.
Yeah.
That was the mentality. And then here, Patton, despite all odds, somehow mobilized his entire army group, and then just booked it and then relieved Bastogne and got those troops out of there, just shortly after Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hitler was a great traitor to the German people. Like when he knew he would lose the war, he ordered essentially the destruction of Germany.
Yeah. Well, he started bringing children into fight. That's when you're on the wrong side.
Yeah.
So
he essentially wanted all the German people to die after he was sure he lost the war.
Wow,
he
so
sent them
really
to battle. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So either take over the world as a Third Reich or just completely cease to exist. That's not a really good ultimatum.
Yeah.
So sounds like a bad girlfriend to me. So. But anyway, 1944 as well, Tennessee Williams' play Glass Menagerie premiered in Chicago. Huh. Okay, I wonder what a glass menagerie is, but it's interesting.
It's a menagerie made out of glass.
I would suspect.
It's the memory play that catapulted him from obscurity to fame, with strong autobiographical elements and so on.
Huh. Alright. Anyway, I believe it's now your turn again, Mr. Blob, in 1951.
Alright, in 1951 we have another movie. It was The African Queen, directed by John Huston and based on the 1935 novel of the same name, starring Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. We talked about her before. It is released in Los Angeles, California, and wins the Academy Awards for the Best Actor 1952.
Well, I think it's safe to say that was Humphrey Bogart who won that.
I hope so.
Since he's the only actor listed.
Did you ever see that movie?
I have not, never heard of it.
Oh, it's a great movie. For the old timers, it's great.
Alright, I'm going to add it to my movie list.
Katharine Hepburn, by the way, was nominated again, but she lost to Vivien Leigh, who played in A Streetcar Named Desire.
Ah. And then we have one in 1954 as well.
Yes, The Shadow airs for the last time on radio. It was some kind of early comic superhero, I think.
Yeah,
I looked it up before the show, but
yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording today. I remember my mom spoke to me because she grew up in the age of radio, and she told me about the times where you just literally sat there and just stared at the radio, and then imagined everything you were hearing. Could you imagine living in a time before TV? Where everything is just audio. You have to make up the images in your mind, and they had really good Foley artists and everything. They waved the thing of sheet metal to simulate lightning.
Oh, everything.
Coconuts for the hoof prints. Stuff like that. They did that in Monty Python. They were banging the coconuts together. But it was all audio, and it was an amazing an amazing way of experiencing entertainment.
I'll tell you what, if you're ever going on a long road trip, get a couple CDs or whatever of old radio shows, and you'll just get engrossed as you're driving along, just listening to that.
Well,
they're amazing.
I wouldn't recommend doing that while driving.
Well, you can drive and listen.
Well, yeah, but like if you start,
whatever.
we're talking about in today's world, people like get infatuated on their phones. They have audiobooks. They get into traffic accidents because they're listening to audiobooks and stuff. Like, it's good for passengers, but like the drivers should probably like not listen to it because.
You don't think you can drive and listen at the same time? What about music or anything like that?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you want to pay attention, then you start focusing more on what you're listening rather than what you're seeing. If you're like people are weak-willed.
Are you weak-minded?
I'm not, but most people in today's world are. So.
I'm giving you a bad time. Move on.
Yes.
Anyway, I see that we have been joined by Brados. Welcome to the show, good sir.
Welcome.
Anyway, you have another one here in 1957?
Yes, we talked about Ingrid Bergman the other day. Now we have someone with a confusingly similar name. In 1957, the Swedish film Wild Strawberries is released, written and directed by legendary filmmaker Ingmar Bergman, considered one of his best.
Now, would they be related?
Have to look that up.
Related to who?
Oh, well, he was saying a very similar name.
Yeah, Ingmar Bergman and Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah, I think it's his daughter.
Oh, that would make sense because he's a director and a writer, and probably gave her the opportunity to get into acting, such. Hopefully not the same way Will Smith did with his son. He kind of forced him into acting. He's kind of forcing his son to live his life again. So, one of those situations, unfortunately.
No idea what you're talking about, but that's okay.
Will Smith, he did a movie with his son. I forgot what it's called. But it's a sci-fi movie, and like it's Earth in the future and all that stuff, or something like that. I don't know the exact premise, but he and his son are in it, and he's been like behind the scenes, like seemingly to push his son into acting and all that stuff. I don't know.
Maybe his son wanted to.
They were not related.
They were not related, you say?
Who wasn't related?
No. Ingmar Bergman and Ingrid Bergman. They were not related.
Huh.
Okay, then I'm saying I don't know who he is then.
All right. Anyway, 1960, we have the musical Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do with Phil Silvers, premiered on St. James Theater in New York City. All right.
He was a character.
Looks like one.
He had a TV show called Sergeant Bilko.
Huh? Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably from the TV show. Yeah.
It looks like a sergeant. He has a sergeant. That is the insignia. The 3 chevrons. It's sergeant. So. We got an NFL championship in 1960 as well. The National Football League championship, Franklin Field in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Green Bay Packers 70-13. Lone playoff defeated for Packers coach Vince Lombardi before Packers established a dynasty.
All right. They lost, first and only time they lost.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, and look at the size of that helmet. Like it's really
I know. Yeah.
bulbous. Then in 1962, here we go again. Dmitri Shostakovich's opera Katerina Izmailova premiered in Moscow. All right.
And we continue with music. In 1965, Paul McCartney is interviewed on pirate radio station Radio Caroline.
Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
1 year later, in 1966, Jimi Hendrix writes the song Purple Haze backstage at the Uppercut Club in London.
That sounds like a violent. Is that the Fight Club? The Uppercut Club?
I don't know.
You don't talk about the Uppercut Club.
Rule 1, there are no rules in Uppercut Club. Rule 2, if you talk about Uppercut Club, you'll get an uppercut to the club. I don't know.
Yes. In 1971, Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay, finishes off German Jürgen Blin with a thundering right cross for a 7th-round knockout in a non-title heavyweight boxing contest in Zurich, Switzerland.
And that's what happens when you talk about Uppercut Club.
Yes, then Muhammad
got a
Ali
right
comes
cross. So.
in. Yes.
But hey, I saw something here. This is interesting. 1966, Maulana Karenga established Kwanzaa, the first fruits of harvest holiday. And that's right, Kwanzaa does start today.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in a podcast earlier this week. I mentioned it a couple times on the shows before, or actually last week. And we spoke about Kwanzaa a little bit. And it's on the 26th through January 1st, so it's a week long, and it's all about of course, African culture and stuff. It says here the first fruits of harvest, so maybe it's around the first harvest of in Africa. Obviously, they're not cold, Africa is mostly either desert or jungle and stuff, so they're mostly hot. So they'd have more harvest seasons, right? Due to climate and weather.
Well, Africa's more hunter-gatherers at the time, back in the day.
But this is
farmers.
1966.
No, but that's you're trying to tie that in with it. I'm saying that doesn't make sense.
But they don't harvest today.
Well, today.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is 1966.
Yeah. So you're not talking about history then.
No, I'm talking about just the geographical location of Africa, being a warmer climated area. Yeah. It would make sense. I'm no botanist, but it would make sense that they would have, things able to harvest in, this time of year because it's a warmer climate. I don't know. I don't know the topography of Africa.
Go down south of the equator.
The first fruit festivals of the Nguni peoples in southern Africa are a type of sacrificial ceremony of giving the first fruits in a harvest to God, believed to be responsible for the abundance of food.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
That's where it originates from, according to Wikipedia.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Yep. And we're going to move back up into 1972. We have a Ballon d'Or here. Bayern Munich defender Franz Beckenbauer won the award for Best European Football Player ahead of tied fellow German duo of Gerd Müller and Günther Netzer. Huh.
The Kaiser Franz.
What?
Kaiser Franz, as we call him, the Emperor Franz.
Ah. What were you going to say?
I just can say before this show, I never heard of a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, a couple days ago we started talking about it. It's some kind of award. So
yeah, well, it's like the best player or whatever of the year.
And Günther Netzer went into the TV sportscasting business later as a moderator and moderated every soccer event.
I'm going to take this other 1973 here as well. Actually, no, this first one. Two Skylab 3 astronauts, Skylab 3 being one of our earlier space stations, they walked in space for a record of 7 hours.
So they couldn't do a full 8-hour shift?
Well, they had to get out and get in.
Spoken like a true boss. What am I paying you for? You couldn't squeeze another hour in there? Come on. The bookies are going to be on my ass. So, but no, think about it. Because I know, in the astronauts' helmets, there's a little patch of Velcro, so you can scratch your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But could you imagine being in a spacesuit for 7 hours? Obviously, probably more like 10 hours to put it on and take it off. Yeah. You can't scratch your nose. You can't blow your nose. You can't, wipe your eyes.
Psychologically, as soon as you can is when you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, throughout the show, you see me every now and then, messing with something, rubbing my nose, rubbing my eye. I cannot imagine that has to be hell. Obviously you have to train, to get yourself in the mental capacity to not, lose your shit if you can't scratch your nose, but yeah, let's go back to you. You have another one in 1973 here.
Okay. In 1973, the horror film The Exorcist, based on the book and screenplay by William Peter Blatty, starring Linda Blair, and rated X, premieres. It is the first horror film to be nominated for Best Picture.
The Exorcist, really, really big.
Yeah, that was impactful in the day, I gotta tell you.
Oh yeah, and yet again another movie I have yet to watch. But
Oh, really?
yeah, no, I am very culturally ignorant. But like I know of the significance of this movie. Like people fainted. Like they were not ready for that level.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if you can advertise X-rated movies here.
Huh. Like there's nudity,
And-
right? I don't know.
No, more the horror of it.
Yeah.
But it's
I
horror.
have no recall of any nudity anyways, that's how insignificant it would have been.
Yeah. And in 1975, the first supersonic transport service, the USSR Tupolev 144. I guess that means limited.
Yeah, so that's right. So like they were transporting, I think, goods, not people, right? At faster than the speed of sound.
I hope it was not people, because the only one with people I know about is the Concorde.
Yes. Concorde was people, but let me look this up actually, so we can figure it out by looking actually at the plane to see if it has windows or anything.
Yeah, that's the Concorde.
That's a Concorde.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a passenger airliner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Russia made their own version of the Concorde. That's right. I forgot about that. You see here, you can see there's a difference. The actual Concorde didn't have those ear wings. See that?
Oh, okay.
So this is the Russia's answer
That's
to the
the version.
Concorde. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually, it was 2 months before the Concorde.
Really? So it was the first one now.
Once again, the Ruskies beat us.
Yeah, but it took another 7 years apparently for the thing to start the transport service. It had a prototype flight in 1968.
Yeah, and it also has the droop snoop. Well, it's the snoop that droops, as the meme goes.
And in 1969, it went supersonic 4 months before Concorde.
Ah, dang. Anyway, I'm gonna do the split here real quick. All right, we're gonna move on up into 1976 AFC Championship, Oakland Coliseum. The Oakland Raiders defeated Pittsburgh Steelers 24-7. That's rough.
Yeah.
So, but let's see here if I'm missing anything else. We were in 1970 something. No, you got that? Okay, so next one. So 1978 here, India's former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was released from jail. We spoke about her getting imprisoned not too long ago. And she was the one I was talking to you about the other day. She is not the wife of Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
yeah. But she was the fourth Prime Minister of India.
I wonder what she's in prison for.
Political things. They were trying to get rid of her as a political opponent.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but then we also have in 1982, Time Magazine of the Year is a computer, or Man of the Year. So,
I remember that. Big stink over that. A computer was the man of the year.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
does that mean that the singularity has happened? Now that we recognize machines as humans. I mean, like, that brings up the this is mind-boggling. In Saudi Arabia, I don't remember the name, but this AI, this android, not even an android, but it's an AI and it's in a robot body. But she has human rights. She has citizenship in Saudi Arabia as a living being. That computer.
What was that movie with Robin Williams that was a robot? And he got eventually all the rights of a human. It's a really good movie.
I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on a second. Robin Williams robot movie. By Centennial
There
Man.
you
That's
go.
right.
There you go.
I have not seen that in a while. I have seen
a
that,
long time ago, yeah.
but it's been a while, so I gotta see that again. So let me put that in the movies. Bicentennial Man. All right. Yeah, no, that was a good movie. It's been a long time though, but no, what I'm saying is like it's hold on a second. Saudi Arabian robots citizenship. Yeah, in October 2017, Sophia was given Saudi Arabian citizenship and became the first robot to receive citizenship in any country. And this is from the same country that views women as second-class citizens. So What a kick in the teeth. A robot is above you in Saudi Arabia if you're a female. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
November of 2017, Sophia was named the United Nations Development Programme's first innovation champion as its first non-human to be given a United Nations title. Wow.
Wow.
Aye, aye, aye. So,
That's downright scary.
it is.
I also have a poll from 1982. By the way, it was the personal computer, not just a computer. That was the
Yeah.
Man of the Year.
The PC. So, what was that? The first Macintosh or something, right?
I just think it was computer.
Oh no, the personal computer as such. It
Okay.
seems.
Yeah, personal computer.
All right.
In 1982, 80% of Americans expected that in the fairly near future, home computers will be as commonplace as television sets or dishwashers.
Well, yeah.
Well, I certainly wasn't a visionary. I know we got one. What do you do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it bet Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Menachem Begin, among others.
Huh.
The Time magazine wrote, "There are some occasions, though, when the most significant force in a year's news is not a single individual but a process. And
Yes.
a widespread recognition by a whole society that this process is changing the course of all other processes." Well, I mean, you probably see this on a computer, be it in your home or on your phone, so I guess they were right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're certainly right.
And I think my phone is still in my room, so I can't find it. So, but yeah, you got two more here in '86.
All right. We have in '86 captured Iraqi Airways Boeing 737 in Saudi Arabia. About 60 people were killed.
What happened? Like, was that a terrorist attack or like what?
It sounds like it.
Huh? Captured Iraqi
I
Airways.
remember this, but not 100%.
Captured Iraqi Airways Boeing 737 in Saudi Arabia. So that's a passenger jet.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a hostage situation.
It
or
was
a terrorist
hijacked.
action, or-
Must have been.
It was hijacked by 4 men. The security personnel tried to stop the hijackers, but a hand grenade was detonated in the passenger cabin.
Oh no.
Emergency descent followed, and then another hand grenade exploded in the cockpit.
Oh
So
god.
that caused-
So they were in flight and they detonated explosives.
Yeah, so essentially, of 106 people on board, 60 passengers and 3 crew members died.
Dang. So they're only talking about the passenger about 60. So 60 passengers and as you said 3 crewmen.
Yeah, in 1985 and 1986, a lot of such hijackings apparently happened, but this was one of the deadliest ever.
Dang.
And the Islamic Jihad organization, widely used name for the Hezbollah, claimed responsibility.
Of course, Hezbollah. Ay, ay, ay. Oh.
And the CIA information that was later obtained confirmed that it likely was the Hezbollah.
Well, let's get out of some dark history and let's talk about something interesting, something lighthearted here. Another one in '86. So while that was happening, this also happened.
Yes, the Hartford Center Doug Jarvis sets the NHL record of 916 consecutive games as the Whalers tie 1-1 after OT against his old club Montreal Canadiens.
Oh wow,
That's a lot of consecutive games.
that is a lot of consecutive games. But then that makes me question. They were tied 1-1, and then they remained tied in overtime, and he was going against his old club here, the Montreal Canadiens. I wonder if he wasn't giving it his all, or if he was doing things to ensure that neither of his teams that he was affiliated with in one time or another would be, superior to the other one.
No, when you're an athlete, and whatever team you're with, you're 100%. The other one's the enemy on the court.
Not necessarily.
Oh yeah,
That's supposed to be how it is, but
no, that's the way it is. You can't survive if you're not in that mindset. You're not going to survive in that league.
yeah. But what about that one guy who was betting against his own team or something?
Well,
Like that baseball guy, you know what I'm talking about? Who got banned from the everything?
yeah. Well, that was um,
Well,
Rose.
Yeah.
Pete Rose. He
Yeah.
was a manager at the time, and he was gambling on the side.
Yeah.
Not that on the field he was trying to make his team win. He wasn't playing, but he was still
Well, if
betting against baseball or his team or whatever.
or like if he was owning a team or something, he can intentionally make it like suck so he can bet against it to win, or
and
I don't know.
Doug Jarvis never missed a game in his career.
No,
Dang.
gee, really?
Wow.
So his
He-
whole career
he
was
played-
916 games.
He played a total of 964 games,
Wow.
and his career ended with a game on October 10, 1987.
Nice. So 916 is when he hit the record. He just kept going. So he
Yes,
set the
he
record.
he broke Gary Unger's record in on December 26, 1986.
Yep. On this date, we just read about that. So
And he was later succeeded his record by Keith Yandel and Phil Kessel, both in 2022.
oh wow. So we're witnessing another a broken record break, and now they're continuing.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, at
Yeah.
the same time in 1986 as well, Marc Messier was suspended for 10 games for instigating a fight with Jamie Malcoon and breaking his cheekbone. That's not cool.
Yeah.
NHL legend. But he broke somebody's face.
Don't do that at home and don't do that otherwise.
Don't do that ever. Breaking faces is not a nice, friendly thing to do to people. And then in 1989, ODI cricket debut for Australia's Mark Taylor and Sri Lanka's Saneth Jayasuriya at the MCG.
Cricket.
Yep. We got some sports history here. In 1990, Garry Kasparov defeated fellow Russian Anatoly Karpov to retain the World Chess Championship. Oh, chess, your stuff. Love.
Yes, the matches between those both were legendary. They essentially Kasparov was the guy who was against Russia, and Karpov was the guy who was, a loyalist, or at least that's how the press, made them to be.
Well, Garry Kasparov was also a political activist. It says.
Yeah, that happened later. He went into the opposition against Putin, and he was in the 2008 presidential election, but of course he was obstructed and was unable to register as a presidential candidate in Russia.
That's unfortunate. I think he probably would have done a good job being a chess master. Really good tactician right there. So
Yeah, and also he was the best chess player of all time before Magnus Carlsen surpassed his record in 2013.
all right.
The
I wonder if that record's going to be
highest-
broken anytime soon.
By ELO rating. So next year we will talk about his 16th birthday, by the way.
Well, you got an Alice article here in 1991.
All right, we have future Hockey Hall of Fame right wing Joe Mullen scores 4 goals for the second straight NHL game as the Pittsburgh Penguins rout Toronto, 12-1. Mario Lemieux adds 2 goals and 5 assists, and Kevin Stevens has 2 goals and 4 assists.
Dang. So they carried that game right there. Like
A
12
hat
to
trick's
1.
amazing. He scored 4 goals in 2 games consecutively. Yeah, that's something.
Huh. Ooh. Oh, wow.
And in 1991, Jack Ruby's gun sells for $220,000 in an auction, and he was the one who killed Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And there are still a lot of conspiracy theories about both what Oswald did and what Jack Ruby did.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't Jack Ruby get killed too? Oh no, he died
in prison.
pulmonary embolism at the age of 55. in 1967. This is 91. Oh, okay, so this is well after. Yeah, okay. So then we have something interesting here in 1996. Start of the largest strike in South Korean history. Dang. I wonder what they were striking about.
I don't know.
Like human rights,
What constitutes the largest?
well, like, the most people participating, I'd assume.
I guess.
So, but then also in 1996, the United Nations. Sorry, what?
It was workers in the automotive and shipbuilding industries that refused to work in protest against the law, which was to make firing employees easier for employers and curtail labor organizing rights, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. So yeah, that strike was well founded. Like making it easier to fire people. Are you kidding me? People need their jobs, bro.
Yeah, but if you don't work, then you don't deserve the job.
True. But if you don't hire good people, then that's kind of on you, isn't it? So, I mean, like, you can only do so much through vetting. But, like, if somebody's not working, you can still fire them for not doing their job. So, why do they need easier ways to fire people if there's already, like, hey, you're not working, you're gone. It's as simple as that,
Not as simple as that, especially when you're...
And while the strikes had a huge participation, the actual results were very little.
But yeah, also in 1996, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification comes back into force. Went into force. What the heck is that, though?
Decertification?
Oh, decertification. I thought it said desertification. So, to combat decertification. So, like, nations uncertified?
I think it's against the deserts, isn't it?
Well, let's look it up here.
Yeah, it's for the countries that have serious drought or desertification, like deserts forming.
I thought so. Yeah, it says here it is sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management. So, yeah, it says the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification in those countries experiencing serious drought or desertification, particularly in Africa, is a convention to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of drought through national action programs that incorporate long-term strategies supported by international cooperation and partnership arrangements. So I'm going to add that into the actual Michaelis channel so that way I can have all the links in order here. Because Blob here, good job Blob, living up to his name, has posted a hell of a lot of links here. So I have a lot of work to do after the show. Good Lord, man.
Also, a good way to combat desertification is to put more CO2 in the atmosphere, just saying.
I mean, yeah, create a greenhouse effect and keep all the warmth and, stir,
No, it actually makes the desert green.
Yeah, no, you keep things warm and moist, and eventually, it'll start growing plant life.
Yeah.
So.
Just don't put too much into the atmosphere, or breathing gets very bad.
Yes. Like just yesterday morning, we went up to our overlook and we saw, all the dirty smog,
Yeah.
over by Catalina.
Yeah, the Santana wind's going and pushed it out to the ocean.
Yeah. Anyway, Boxing Day Tsunami. I believe it's your turn, Blob.
Yes, but first we have in 2003 the magnitude 6.6 earthquake that devastates southeastern Iranian city of Bam, killing tens of thousands and destroying the citadel of Arq-e-Bam.
I mean, at least the city was named appropriately. Bam! Earthquake. Bam! But yeah, that sucks. Tens of thousands of people dead. Eesh.
Yeah.
The day after Christmas.
Yes.
I wonder if that's what caused the tsunami here.
And in 2004, we have a 9.3 magnitude earthquake that creates a tsunami, causing devastation in Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, the Maldives, and the edges of the Indian Ocean. It kills 230,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
Like I remember this photograph. Like
Yeah.
the people just standing there, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're dead. Damn.
Yeah, and it was like the worst catastrophe in modern history that I experienced.
Oh, you experienced it?
Oh, I was not there. I mean, in my time.
Ah, so that you've been alive during it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, one of the worst.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. In 2006, we have something more uplifting, I guess.
Yeah.
Spin bowling great Shane Warne becomes the first bowler in Test cricket history to take 700 wickets. He bowls England opener Andrew Strauss for 50 during Australia's fourth Test win in Melbourne.
Cricket.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but good for him?
Yeah.
Question mark. You know.
He made it to the highlights, so there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 700 wickets, so
Whatever a
I
wicket
guess-
is, there's 700 of them.
well, there is that Wicked Witch of the West, so she was probably playing cricket.
I wonder if it's 700 wicker furnitures. You know. 700.
I hope.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Maybe you want to take all the last 3 entries on the list?
Yeah, sure, I'll take them. 2015 here we have floods in Paraguay, Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay displaced 150,000 people. This was blamed on El Nino. I remember we get El Ninos every now and then.
Yeah.
So, but then in 2018, U.S. Colin O'Brady was the first person to cross Antarctica solo and unassisted after 54 days at the Ross Ice Shelf. Huh. So
Solo.
just solo traversing Antarctica.
Yeah.
That's a feat right there. Then in 2019, an annual solar eclipse was visible from South and Southeast Asia. I remember hearing about that.
Not annual, it's annular.
Annular solar eclipse, yeah. And yeah, is that the one when Trump was in office? When like the famous picture of him looking up at the eclipse without any glasses?
I think you're right.
I think so too.
I remember that now that you mention
Yeah,
it.
everybody's making fun of that, as they should. You know, like what an idiot. So.
Annular means ring-shaped, by the way.
Oh, okay. Anyway, before we move on into bursts and deaths, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anybody?
Well, there's a lot today,
Yeah.
as there is every day. But there's a couple small ones, and I can't think of them right offhand, but they really surprised me.
Yeah, you've fallen right into my pocket too, man. Like, you know, I can't single anything out. Like, you know, a lot of things are really interesting. Like, you know, like all of those floods and everything. You know, the first Spanish settlement, La Navidad, which I wanted to mention earlier, you know, Feliz Navidad is Spanish for Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had Christmas Island the other day. We have this other Christmas thing. Now it's Mole Saint Nicholas. Saint Nick.
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, that was cool. Mayflower coming ashore. George Washington after he crossed Delaware.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and, you know, a lot more others. I'm not going to go through the entire thing again. Oh, the first steamship, of course. You know,
There's a number of little ones too that are really interesting.
the first black boxer to
Yeah.
win, at least.
Yeah.
Jack Sullivan.
Yeah. No, Jack Johnson.
Johnson.
Not
Sullivan.
Sullivan was
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
So, well, what about you, Blob? Anything that you found more interesting than most?
Well, the Shadow airing for the last time on radio, that must have sucked for the people back then.
Yeah, that's yeah, that is a bit of a bummer. But
A lot of catastrophes this day.
yeah. Anyway, but like audience, were there anything that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything that you wish we had elaborated more about? Anything you would have liked to add to if you had been in the show? Start a dialogue in the comments section. Let's move on up into bursts, and I think we're losing the loon.
I am gone, and enjoy.
All right, the loon
Take
flew
care.
the cuckoo's nest. Thank you for joining. Have a good one. Merry day after Christmas. Boxing Day, yeah, Canada Boxing Day, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it means, but it says Boxing Day everywhere, so it's something American, I guess.
Well, it's not of U.S. origin. I believe it's of Canadian origin, to my knowledge. But it's Boxing Day. It's when you box up all the stuff you're not keeping or something, and like, you know. Actually, hold on. Let me go. What is Boxing Day?
That's very rude.
A public holiday celebrated on the first day, strictly the first weekday after Christmas Day. Um, Boxing Day is a holiday celebrated after Christmas Day, occurring on the second day of Christmas Tide. Though it originated as a holiday to give gifts to the poor, today Boxing Day is primarily known as a shopping holiday. So I guess people are doing post-Christmas shopping? I guess. Would make sense, but...
Wait, stores are open today in the United States?
I believe so. I hope that my vape shop is open because I do need to go in there and get some more juice and a new rig here, even though mine is not at risk of dying anytime soon. But yeah, it's probably not good to have my thumb rubbing on this raw metal here all the time. So I need a new one. Plus, like, I've had this for a few years, and the coils are probably not going to be obtainable here too much longer. Although I haven't really been having much of a problem with that lately. But anyway, let's get into bursts here. Do you want to start us off here in 1194?
We have Frederick II, Holy Roman Emperor from 2020 to 2050. No, 1220 to 1250. I mean.
I was gonna say.
that would have been a bit
like he's gonna be our Holy Roman Emperor for the next 30 years. Dang.
No, it was 1220 to 1250, of course. King of the Romans in Germany and Sicily and Jerusalem. So King of the Romans of Sicily and Jerusalem. He was born in Lecce, Italy, and he died in 1250, so in office.
Yep.
And in 1618 we have Elizabeth of the Palatinate, a German philosopher and abbess. She corresponded with René Descartes, and she was born in Heidelberg and died in 1680. And she actually got a marriage proposal by Vladislav IV Vasa, King of Poland, in 1633, but she refused it because she would have had to convert to Catholicism, and she wanted to remain a Protestant.
Ah, well, that's interesting.
And of course, back then, age of marriage was a bit lower than today, so that was when 14.
Well, that was back when women were having kids in their late teens, even like early teens, actually, because you gotta make more hands to harvest the wheat,
Yeah.
And we got Calico Jack, born on this date in 1682. He was an English pirate captain who operated in the Bahamas and Cuba, born in England, died in 1720. Calico Jack, I haven't heard that name in a while. Oh. And then we also have in 1791, Charles Babbage was a British mathematician and inventor, calculating machine, considered the father of the computer, born in London. Alright. So we have the father of the computer and the mother of the computer. And then now we have the computer, the child. So.
Yeah, he invented that machine that Ada Lovelace computed on.
Yes.
Essentially, after she did all the programming, he invented the machine for her or something like that. Let's continue before I talk more stuff that
200
probably...
years ago on this date.
Yes, in 1822 we have Dion Boucicault. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's an Irish actor and playwright. Rip Van Winkle, London Assurance. He was born in Dublin, Ireland, and he died in 1990.
Yeah, sorry. So he was in Rip Van Winkle. I've heard of that. I have not seen it, but Dad's talked about it a couple of times. So.
I think there was a lot about Rip Van Winkle.
Yep. And you have you did YouTube. So we have 1837. George Dewey, a U.S. admiral, naval hero in the Battle of Manila Bay, born in Montpelier, Vermont, dying in 1917. Huh. Battle of Manila Bay. I wonder what the year was that. Hold on a second. Battle of Manila Bay. Year. 1898. Huh. Oh, the Spanish-American War. Okay. All right. And then we also have, let's see here, is 1855. 55. Yeah, 1855. We have Arnold Mendelssohn, a German composer born in Radebeul, province of Silesia, died in 1933.
He was the son of Felix Mendelssohn's cousin Wilhelm Mendelssohn.
And who is that?
Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, he was a very famous classical composer.
Ah.
And his cousin Wilhelm, he was the father of Arnold.
Oh, okay.
And Arnold wrote a few operas and music himself.
Cool. You got another one in 1883, I believe.
All right, in let me see, 1883. Oh yes, we have Karl Aarhus, the German jazz master for 1950. He was born in Bremen, Germany, and he died in 1968. And I think the opening C2, C4 was named after him as the Bremen opening, but it's also known as the English opening.
Ah, that's cool. We have Henry Miller in 1891. He was a U.S. author, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and Sextus. Born in Manhattan, New York, dying in 1980. Huh. And, Mao Zedong, 1893. Chinese revolutionary and chairman of the Communist Party of China from 1949 through 76. Born in Shaoshan, Hunan province in China, dying in 1976. He will not be missed.
I told you before the show, I just didn't tell the name.
Ah. Alright. Yeah, that's right. You're talking about China or something. I'm just like, what? So.
No, I was talking about one of the worst genocidal maniacs of the 20th century.
Oh, yes, that's true.
In 1903, we have Elisha Cook Jr., the American actor who starred in the Maltese Falcon, Shane, Magnum P.I. He was born in San Francisco, California, and died in 1995.
I know about Magnum P.I. I might have heard about Maltese Falcon. Never heard about Shane. But yeah.
Same here. I also I know Maltese Falcon and Magnum P.I., but not Shane. In 1921, we have John Severin, American comic book artist for Hulk and Mad Magazine. He was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, and he died in 2012.
Well, dang. Hulk and Mad Magazine.
Yes.
I have a whole stack of Mad magazines. Like, I just actually recently put them away in a box, finally. But my entire Mad Magazine collection. And I wonder if he was ever, must be in some of them, you know. There's a lot of comics in those magazines. In 1921 as well, we have Steve Allen. He was a U.S. comedian, composer, writer, and a TV host. Tonight Show and the Steve Allen Show. Born in New York City, New York. Dying 22 years ago in 2000. I wonder what date. Just October 30th. Oh. Well, might have spoken about him not too long ago then. But we also have in 1933, Carol Spiney, a U.S. puppeteer behind Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street from 1969 through 2018. Born in Waltham, Massachusetts, dying in 2019. So wow, so a puppeteer behind Big Bird and Oscar. Cool.
Yes.
And like, Oscar is a grouch because he lives in a trash can. So that's why.
What?
Yeah, Oscar the Grouch lives in a trash can.
Oh, that's the one in the trash can.
Yeah.
All right. In 1935, we have Gnassingbé Eyadema.
Good job.
Or however you pronounce him.
Yeah.
He was the general and president of Togo from 1967 to 2005. He was born in Kosa, Togo, and he likely died in office.
Let's see here. Heart attack. So yeah, that sounds about right.
He died in 2005. So
yeah, he died of a heart attack. So it might have been in office. Sounds about right.
Yeah, And in 1937, we just have not highlighted the greatest mathematician, one of them of the 20th century, John Horton Conway, British mathematician who created the cellular automaton game of life. He was born in Liverpool, England, and died in 2020. He also wrote, together with Alvin Bellekamp and Richard Guy, Richard Guy, the book Winning Ways for Your Mathematical Place, where essentially he talks about what is it called? Hackenbush, right?
Hackenbush?
Hackenbush, yeah, where the surreal numbers are introduced, essentially.
Hackenbush. Oh, I see. It's a two-player game invented by mathematician John Horton Conway. It may be played on any configuration of colored line segments connected. Oh, this one. Okay. All right.
Yes, it is based on the surreal numbers, which I think he also invented.
I'm going to add these links into the Mic List chat as well. There
All
you
right.
go. Good lord,
And
links.
And Richard Guy, by the way, who was his co-author, was the greatest amateur mathematician of the 20th century.
Huh.
And he also created chess puzzles.
Nice. We also have Phil Spector, 1939, a U.S. record producer, Wall of Sound, and a convicted murderer born in the Bronx, New York. Well, that made a left turn real quick. Died, I guess, thankfully, last year in 2021. If you convicted murderer, although it's.
Oh, he was the who killed Lena Clarkson.
I don't know who that is, but not good.
Oh, famous actress.
We also have Ozzie Smith, born on this date in 1954. He's 68 today. Happy birthday. He is a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame infielder, 15-time MLB All-Star, 13-time Gold Glove Award, World Series of 1982, National League Silver Slugger Award of 1987, National League CS, whatever that is, MVP, 1985, San Diego Padres, and the St. Louis Cardinals, born in Mobile, Alabama. So yeah, we do you made a comment the other day about mobile phones being born out of Alabama. So.
No, I said you named your city after them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe, I don't know. I've never been to Alabama. That's a question for Sohan though. He's around that area, I believe. So.
I don't know.
But right back to you, sir.
Yes, and I just found another one. In 1959, we have Koji Morimoto, Japanese anime director, born in Wakayama Prefecture in Japan. And he did the Akira film and shorts in Robot Carnival, Short Piece, and much more. Fist of the North Star should be known in the United States.
I know about that. You Are Already Dead, Nani thing, meme.
I don't know.
That Fist of the North Star. That's when he powers up and all of his clothes shred off of him, and he punches people weird, and then they explode.
I see.
I believe. Fist of the North Star. Yeah, that is. There's a bunch of memes going on about it. About whatever it was he says, Yosho Nebegirabo Nani. I don't know.
Alright, so happy birthday, Mr. Morimoto Sensei.
Yes. And thank you for Akira, a really good movie. And of course,
yes.
Not comic. What's the Japanese word? Manga. So.
It was anime, by the way.
Well, no, it started off as a manga, and then it became an anime movie. To my knowledge, Akira started off as a Japanese comic book. So.
And in 1960, we have New Zealand actor we have New Zealand actor Temuera Morrison. It is his 62nd birthday, so happy birthday also. He starred in Once once were Warriors and Boba Fett Star Wars franchise. He was born in Rotorua in New Zealand.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
I really cannot say those names.
Yeah, Tamora Morrison. I thought he looked familiar. He looked a little like Django. So probably played Django actually. Django Fett in the prequels at least. And then we have Lars Ulrich in 1963, a Danish heavy metal drummer for Metallica and Justice for All, born in Gentofte, Denmark. Happy birthday to you. Oh.
Yeah.
And who else do we have here? Alexander Wang, 1983, a U.S. fashion designer, Balenciaga, born in San Francisco, California. All right.
I thought we were going to skip that guy.
Oh, well, like, why?
Now it's too late.
Oh.
And in 1986, we have Kit Harington. It's his 36th birthday. He's an English actor in Game of Thrones and was born in London, England.
I have a question. Why were we, like, I remember you talking about skipping somebody and I forgot the reason why.
Yeah, because he's with Balenciaga.
What's Balenciaga?
We talk about it after the show, I think, or we get demonetized.
Damn. Okay. Well then.
They were involved in a big scandal recently.
Oh no. Okay.
their advertising department.
Oh, them. They're the one with the teddy bear thing, right?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm an idiot. I should have skipped over him then. So. My bad. Whoops.
Our viewers, please do not look that up. Don't.
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't need to know. But let's just say it's wokeness. So let's leave it at that.
In 1992, we have the English pop singer-songwriter Jade Thirlwall. She wrote Little Mix, Sweet Melody, born in South Shields, Tyne and Wear, England. You know it's England when they have names like Tyne and Wear.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird name. That's the name of a city? What the hell?
I think South Shields is the city and Tyne and Wear is I don't know what.
Huh. Well, I noticed that Luli and Doom have been leaving some comments in the live chat. Hello, thank you for guys watching. It's Big Fist.
Hua. It's a metropolitan county in northeast England. So, it's situated around the mouths of the rivers Tyne and Wear. Okay, so it makes sense actually that it has that name.
You know, they gotta have some kind of like little city council or something and come up with a better name. You know, like, well, not Tianware. You know, like that. You know, not Tyne and Wear. You know, it's weird. Very, very British. Yeah. So.
I guess.
I don't know. Anyway, we're going to move on to the deaths here. We're starting us off in the year 418. We have Saint Zosimus, Roman Pope, from 417 through 418, dies. Just randomly dies. Is that the same guy as earlier? Saint Dionysius? No. So.
That's why that they posted Saint Dionysius in the wrong.
Yeah. But then we have Babur in 1530, a Timurid founder and first emperor of the Mughal dynasty in the Indian subcontinent from 1526 through 1530. Dies at the age of 47, you know, presumably in office. Doesn't say the reason, he just dies. So that's a heck of a tournament he has, though. I want that.
Yeah, and I think Timurid is related to Timur, also known as Tamerlane, but he was over 1 century before. So, I don't know. Let's continue in 1797 with John Wilkes. He was an English radical and journalist for the North Britain, and also a politician. He died of marasmus at 72, and he was born in 1725.
So, not to be confused with John Wilkes Booth. This is somebody else. But what is marasmus? It is a severe form of malnutrition specifically protein, energy, undernutrition. It results from an
What?
overall lack of calories. Massumnus is a deficiency of all macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and protein. If you have marasmus, you lack the fuel necessary to maintain normal bodily functions. So veganism, essentially.
No, it's what the.
What?
It's the form of nutrition most highly associated with HIV, but that wasn't there at that time.
Ah,
So maybe it was from an illness. I don't know.
well, no, marasmus is a severe form of malnutrition, as I just read.
Yeah, but how did he get that? Like,
By not eating correctly. Like, whatever it was he was eating with his diet, he wasn't getting the proper nutrients he required for his daily, operations as a human being.
yeah, that's very strange.
That's why I brought up veganism, because, they refuse to eat meat. They have to have, they have to take pills and supplements to give their body what it's not being given because of their diet. So,
Yeah. So during the American War of Independence, he was a supporter of the American rebels, adding further to his popularity with American Whigs.
huh. All right.
Whoa, that's something if you're British and are for the American rebels.
Huh. So they're probably saying, oh, look, he's a rebel supporter and he starved to death. Like, probably how they'd spin that right there.
Yeah, that's something. Wow.
But anyway, you have one in 1890 here.
All right. In 1890, we have. Oh my God! It's Heinrich Schliemann, the German archaeologist who rediscovered Troy. He died of
Good luck.
cholesteatoma at 86, and he was born in 1822. So something with cholesterol, I think.
Actually, a cholesteatoma is an abnormal collection of skin cells deep inside your ear. They're rare, but if left untreated, they can damage the delicate structures inside your ear that are essential for hearing and balance. A cholesteatoma can also lead to ear infection, causing discharge from the ear. I don't know how that can be fatal, but...
And it can grow through the base of the skull into the brain. Whoa.
That's how it could be fatal then, I guess. Jesus.
Oh my... That sounds horrible.
That sounds frightening. Like,
Holy...
there really are a
Whoa.
million ways to die. Like, that is scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of that before. Let's continue. Your turn.
Alright, then we have Harry Truman. Wow, died on this date in 1972. I did not know that. He was the 33rd U.S. President, served as a Democrat from 1945 through 53, died in Kansas City, Missouri at the age of 88, born in 1884. Harry Truman. Huh. The guy who authorized the dropping of the bombs of Nagasaki in Japan, and Hiroshima. I did not know he died on the 26th. That is wild. We also have Jack Benny in 1974, a U.S. comedian. The Jack Benny program died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 80, born in 1894. That's a sucky way to go. But at least we know what that one is.
Yeah. In 1989, we have Doug Harvey, Canadian ice hockey defense player, 100 induced in the 100 greatest NHL players, it seems. He died of cirrhosis of the liver at 65, and he was born in 1924, so he probably drank too much, or...
Yeah, that's a short life. He was only, what, 60? 50 something? 65. Cirrhosis
Yeah,
of
60.
the liver. Huh.
I mean, that's something that happens often if you drink too much.
Yep.
Jack Kerouac and Mustafa Kemal Atatürk also died that way, so probably there are other ways for that. Although with Kerouac, I think it was drinking.
Well, let's see here. Cirrhosis of the liver. Let's take a look at that real quick. Cirrhosis is scarring or fibrosis of the liver caused by long-term liver damage. The scar tissue prevents the liver working properly. Cirrhosis is sometimes called end-stage liver disease because it happens after other stages of damage from conditions that affect the liver, such as hepatitis or drinking, as you say. So, not a good way to go at all.
Yeah.
Then we also have Ali Reynolds, died on this date in 1994. He was a U.S. MLB pitcher, 1942 through 54, 6 times All-Star, 1952, American League ERA leader, Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees. Died from complications of lymphoma and diabetes at 77.
Wow.
That's rough. And we also have Reggie White, 2004, a U.S. NFL defensive end for the Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl 31, died of cardiac arrhythmia at 43. So something involving a heart attack, maybe.
Yeah. You know, a lot of United States presidents died on July 4th. And it seems that December 26th is also one such day, because in 2006 we have Gerald Ford. He was the 38th US president for the Republicans from 1974 to 1977. And the 41st United States vice president from 73 to 74, so right before that. He died at 93 years old, and he was born in 1913.
Yeah, that makes me question, like, a lot of these articles, they go with, like, the more recent things first. He was vice president first, and then he became president, you know, but they flipped it around there for some reason. But it's funny you bring up that 4th of July thing, because, like, that reminded me, way before I even knew you existed, like, we did cover, like, what, 4 or some presidents that died on July 4th? It was wild, you know?
Yeah. It is thought that they just had that will to hold out until the 4th of July. And there was one who died a few days before the 4th of July, and it's thought that he just didn't care about that.
Huh. Well, hey, at least, you know, you go out with a bang, right? You know, like, if I die, I want to die when the sky's exploding. You know? Like, that's pretty metal right there.
I think at that time they didn't have fireworks. One of them was Thomas Jefferson, I think, and I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, let's get back on track here. You got another one here in 2020.
Yeah, but I have no clue how to pronounce him.
Phil Niekro, I think.
All right, so we have Phil Niekro. He was American Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, knuckleballer, no-hitter in 1973, 5 times MLB All-Star, 5 times Golden Glove, Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves. He died of cancer at 81.
Dang.
And he was born in 1939.
What is a knuckleballer? Let's see here. Knuckleball pitch. What is knuckleballer? A pitcher who probably throws knuckleballs, but what is a knuckleball? A slow pitch that has virtually no spin and moves erratically, typically made by releasing the ball from between the thumb and the knuckles of the first joints of the index and middle finger. So it's a way to throw, and it's a way to throw to screw up somebody's ability to hit a ball. So I'm going to add this link here. There we go. Then we got Desmond Tutu. Spoke about him several times. Died on this date in 2021, just last year. He was an Anglican Archbishop of South Africa and 1984 Nobel Peace Prize winner. Died at the age of 90. Was born in 1931. So, yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah. And of course, explaining the strange times of Gerald Ford, his predecessor as president was Richard Nixon.
And we also have in 2021 as well, we have Edward O. Wilson, a U.S. Sociobiologist. He was the world's leading authority of ants, apparently. He died at the age of 92. So that is a loss. However, what we know about the happenings of the ant kingdom now, so I don't know. But that
we
is
have
really cool.
another one in 2021, I see. The last one on the list.
Go for it. Oh.
We have Sarah Weddington, American attorney. She represented quote-unquote Jane Roe in Roe v. Wade before the United States Supreme Court, and she died at 76.
Dang. So, we We
The
reviewed
entire
that
story.
earlier this year, right?
Yeah, the entire story behind Norma McCorvey, alias Jane Roe, is a very interesting one. So we also put an article about her in the underbar.
Yes. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar in the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We have a Rumble, we have a BitChute. You know, this is my own personal YouTube channel, Aoxander. If you're watching this on the Omni Coalition's YouTube, you obviously know we have that. You know, as I said, Rumble, BitChute. Go check them out. Anyway, for your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and
7 p.m. German time.
Yep. For all of you and all of us, I am Aoxander.
I'm Protoblob.
And you, viewer, of course, are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some notable events, whether in sports and news show, we have that coming up in a few hours at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. And I'd like to make an announcement. We are going to have a special, our first crazy idea this Saturday, actually. I screwed up in my high stoner mentality yesterday. But we're going to be having a Kicked Peanut on Saturday, not on Sunday. It's going to be our end of the year extravaganza. So at 2 p.m. Pacific Time on Saturday until midnight, so 10 hours on, for me at least, we're going to have a live stream party, you know, knocking the year out and talking about a whole bunch of stuff, introducing several new projects that have been going on in the background, and going to start that up in the next year. Anyway, until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to actually, no. We've already done that. Until you catch us tomorrow or whenever you see us next time, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Toodles!